Essential oils are safer, cheaper, and more effective health care. Medical care is the #1 cause of death in the United States, according to Dr. Mercula at Health Impact News. There is definitely a place for medical care. It is equally important that each of us take control of our health care on a daily basis and have the ability to prevent and treat at home through informed self-care. Essential oils are safer. According to an article at U.S. News and World Report, prescription medications have on average 70 side effects, some drugs having up to 525 reactions. Essential oils have few, if any, negative side effects. For example, my mother-in-law was using lemongrass essential oils for arthritis in her hands, and her side effect was all of her age spots completely disappeared. She experienced another side effect. She had a large, painful wart on the bottom of one of her feet, and while using an oil blend I made up for her to support her diabetes, her wart has almost completely disappeared, and it is no longer painful to her, and her blood glucose levels have dropped. You might be skeptical. In 2013, I was introduced to essential oils through many ward members at church. And honestly, I thought they were nuts. Then one day I had a pounding headache, and I mentioned it to someone, and they sat me down, and they put lavender and peppermint essential oils all along my hairline. And within 5 minutes, my headache was cut in half. I was impressed, so I started researching and learning a little bit more about essential oils, and then I had my second oil experience. This experience will demonstrate how essential oils are both cheaper and more effective. My son had a really disgusting infection on his arm. I took him to the doctors, and they gave him a topical and an internal antibiotic. 4 days later, his glands under his arms and in his neck got really swollen. So I took him back to the doctor, and they took him off the first internal and gave him a second internal. Long story short, more than 2 weeks on antibiotics, and the infected arm was still inflamed, still painful, and still gross. So I called a friend who had been talking to me about essential oils, and she brought me over the Protective Blend On Guard. And I applied it twice that day, and the next morning, no redness, no swelling, no pain. The infection was gone. I couldn't believe it. I applied for 2 more days, and the location was completely healed. Now let's compare. Conventional medicine, 2 trips to the doctor's office and 3 prescriptions, gas, 3 hours of time, and exposure to who knows what. Compare that to informed self-care using essential oils. Cost $1.08. Which is less expensive? Which is more effective? I was still a little skeptical, and my friend told me to pray about it. And I said, really? You want me to pray about essential oils? And she said, yes. So I did. And the morning I prayed, I opened my scriptures and I started reading, and I read Alma 46:40. And the last half of that scripture reads, because of the excellent qualities of the many plants and roots which God had prepared to remove the cause of diseases to which men were subject by the nature of the climate. This scripture gave me a push to learn more about essential oils through attending classes and reading. I am now a wellness advocate, and I teach classes about essential oils. Essential oils have absolutely changed my life. I've been struggling for more than 5 years with unreasonable anger. There was a war going on inside of me. I had gone to the doctors. I had had tests. Nothing. The doctors just wanted to treat the symptoms by giving me Prozac, and I didn't want that. After doing research using the Modern Essentials book, I started using Comm, a blend for supporting hormones. After a month of using this blend, My son, who was 16 at the time, said, "Mom, that stuff must be working. You are not nearly as bad to live with." No more war inside of me. I feel like a completely different person. No dollar amount can be put on the way that I feel. For me, essential oils are priceless. Essential oils empower you against viruses. Have you ever gone to the doctor feeling really lousy and they said, "It's a virus, sorry, we can't help you, go home, drink lots of fluids and get a lot of rest"? Well, now you have a weapon against viruses. Essential oils are effective against viruses because they can pass through the cell membrane and kill viruses. And this is another example of how essential oils are more effective. Essential oils are powerful. 1 drop of peppermint essential oil equals 25 cups of peppermint tea. Every oil has multiple uses. Peppermint has more than 25 applications. Can you say that about anything in your medicine cabinet? Essential oils can be used for emotional support. One example is lavender, used for its calming properties. A couple more examples are, I have a friend who is disabled. She could no longer work because of her fibromyalgia, lupus, and IBS pain. And on top of that, all the side effects she had from all of the medications for those health needs. And I introduced her to essential oils. And I would say within probably a year of using essential oils, she was able to get off some of her medications, reduce the use of others, and she is feeling great. She looks good, and she has returned to full-time work, which she could not do before. Another friend's son, ADHD, was out of control. The school was getting ready to kick him out. They told him if he didn't change quick that she was going to have to find another school for him to attend. Not knowing what else to do, she tried essential oils. And within a year's time, she was able to get her son completely off of ADHD meds, and her son's behavior has completely turned the opposite direction now, and currently he is on the honor roll. I'm out of time. I have explained how essential oils are a safer, cheaper, and more effective form of health care. If you have any questions, post them on the discussion board. Thanks.